Hey, closet busters and closet dwellers. It is time once again for an uncloseted riff and rant. Yes, that means it's Friday, and I'm Rick Clemons, the coming out coach, that guy who helps you simplify your life to make those big, bold moves. And I got something on my mind to say. Well, actually, I have a lot of things on my mind to say, but I have to tell you that this one's coming from a space of really having had a beautiful, beautiful experience. It was Friday, the 12th of May, 2017. Yes, just a week ago. And I had the opportunity to go speak at a high school. Now, that's not out of the norm for me. I go speak at high schools and colleges on a fairly frequent basis. And I was headed to this high school to speak. Now, I was a little off my game because I knew I was going to speak by myself. I didn't have any other panelists or members supposedly showing up to speak with me at this first speaking engagement of the morning. B, it was pretty early. I had to be at the school by 8 o'clock. And C, it was at a high school that we've never been to before. And I say we because we were invited by the PFLAG Speakers Bureau to speak at this high school. And there is a D. There was a D of dread because I had never been to this part of Los Angeles. I'd never driven in that area. I'd never been to Wilmington, California. I knew where it was, kind of had an idea about it. And as I got closer, I started to realize this wasn't my neighborhood. No, it wasn't my home neighborhood whatsoever. But because I'm an open-minded guy and I trust the universe delivers me to places where I'm supposed to be, I kept driving, and as I kept driving, I realized, you know what? This is going to be an experience. Now, I'd had a conversation with the school psychologist where she said, a lot of these kids have never been out of this part of the LA. A lot of them come from homes where it's very much Christian, cultural sort of stuff where being LGBTQ is simply unheard of and frowned upon. So I kind of knew what I was walking into. Yeah, that dread was kind of like the lion's den. But guess what? These are high school kids, right? What's the worst that could happen? And when I got there, I was really excited because there waiting for me was one of my fellow speakers that I had no idea was actually going to be there. She's one of our beautiful transgender panelists. Beautiful lady, love her to death. And I thought, okay, wow, that's going to help a little bit. And then the kids started coming into the area where we were delivering our beautiful conversation. And I took a deep breath and I said, this is all about expressing and connecting. This is about talking with the kids, not to the kids. This is about me being who I am so that they can see that they can be who they are. And in that moment, I began to cast off my own bullshit about what the world has said, about what it's like to be in this area of LA and what these kids are all about. And as I started to look out at those beautiful faces, I realized this is really freaking cool. For one thing, it's really freaking cool because I'm actually getting the insight to what so many of these kids are going through. I'm seeing a whole sea of faces. A sea of faces that are so different from mine. They're all brown and different versions of brown. And I happen to be the only white boy in the crowd. And for some people that might freak you out, but I was so excited because I'm like, I am now seeing what someone else feels like in those terms. When suddenly they're the only black person or Asian person or you name it, Hispanic. It's uncomfortable because suddenly you don't know who you are. But in that moment, I realized this was about me letting go and really, truly stepping in to be who I was meant to be. I let go of all preconceived notions about what I knew about these kids, and I started by having a lot of fun. I told a story that they could connect to. It wasn't about me coming out late in life. It was about me in my teen life trying to figure things out, and then me with my daughter in her teen life trying to figure her stuff out. And the beauty of the moment was that was when I connected. And in that connection, it allowed students to step up and ask questions that they probably have never been able to ask or have been afraid to ask, some things to talk about that they may not be able to talk about at home, and questions that they're not sure that if they ask the question, what might happen to them. And I still remember this moment as vivid as it was 5 minutes ago when this one young black boy raised his hand and he said, "How do you feel about people like me who don't like people like you who are LGBTQ?" And it got really quiet. And I took a moment, I took a breath, and I do what I call the relax or react moment. And I decided to relax and not react to the question because I knew what I wanted to say. I wanted to say, it's okay, and you're okay. And that was a version of what came out of my mouth. And I looked that young man right in the eye and I said, well, it sounds like that you and I could have a really powerful conversation, getting to know each other and getting to understand each other. And that's how I feel about people who say they don't like LGBTQ people like me. I see it as an open opportunity to have a dialogue. So yes, it's been a week. I went through another conversation later that day with another set of the students. I learned even more, but what I can tell you is this has been the week that I learned about myself, something more than I ever would have anticipated I would have learned. And that is to see the world as it is. I know that intellectually, I know that in my heart, but sometimes the universe delivers you these moments so that you can see the world as it is, so that you can see yourself as you are. And I'm encouraging each and every one of you this day to take that with you as you go about your day to day or through the weekend or into next week or into the month or into next year, wherever you may be going, and just give yourself the opportunity to see the world as it is, because when you can see it as it is, it's so much easier to understand it as it is. And that's where I'm going to wrap it up for this week. I'm Rick Clemons, the Coming Out Coach. Thanks for coming and listening to another episode of Uncloseted Riffs and Rants. I'll be right back with you on another interview coming up in just a few days. Take care and have a great weekend, everyone. And always never step out, step up, and step in to living your powerful truth. Take care and have a good weekend. Bye-bye.